before the world called him the face of artificial intelligence, before presidents invited him to meetings, before billions of people used tools created under his leadership, Sam Altman was just a quiet kid sitting alone in a small room staring at a glowing computer screen, not because he was trying to escape the world, but because he was trying to understand. Yes, some kids grow up wanting attention, some kids want popularity, some kids want approval, but there is another type of child, the observer, think of the one who watches everything silently and asks questions nobody else asks. Why does this system work like this? Why is this inefficient? Why can't this be better? Why do humans do things the slow way? Sam was that child. He was not loud, not flashy, not the center of the room, but inside his mind something powerful was forming. Curiosity, the dangerous kind, the kind that refuses to accept reality as it is, because once you start questioning everything, you stop fitting into normal life. Growing up in the Midwest, there was no Silicon Valley energy around him, no startup mentors, no billionaire neighbors, no tech celebrities. Just normal streets, normal schools, normal expectations. Get good grades, go to college, get a stable job, live a safe life. But safety never excited him. Systems excited him. Computers excited him. Logic excited him, while other kids played games for fun. Sam opened computers to see how they worked, while others consumed technology. He dissected. I'd learned coding early, not because someone forced him, but because it felt natural, because code makes sense. Life is messy, emotions are messy, people are unpredictable, but code obeys. Rules, and rules create control. Control creates power, and once a young mind tastes that kind of power, normal life starts feeling small. By the time he was a teenager, he wasn't just using software, he was building things, teeny tools, little programs, small experiments. Nothing impressive, but that is how all founders begin, not with big ideas, with tiny attempts. Messy attempts, repeated attempts, because builders don't wait for perfect plans. They start. The habit alone separates future leaders from everyone else. Most people wait until they feel ready. Builders move while feeling unsure, and uncertainty became normal for him. That is important, because the rest of his life would be nothing but uncertainty. He wasn't dreaming about being rich, he wasn't dreaming about fame, he wasn't thinking about becoming a billionaire. He was thinking, how can technology change everything? How can systems scale? How can one small piece of code affect millions of lives? That is not the thinking of an employee, that is the thinking of someone who wants leverage, and leverage is how empires are built. One action, massive outcome. One decision, global effect. That concept hooked him early, and once you understand leverage, you can never go back to normal thinking. Normal jobs feel too small, normal careers feel too slow, normal life feels too limited. So while other kids prepared for safe future, Sam quietly prepared for something riskier, something unpredictable, something most parents fear: startups. And he didn't know it yet, but every small late night, every lonely experiment, every quiet hour behind that screen was conditioning him, training him for a life that would demand extreme resilience, because talent is common, but endurance is rare, and endurance is built early, not when success arrives, but when nobody is watching. And soon he'd face his first real test, not theory, not practice, real risk, real failure, real pressure. Because curiosity alone does not build billion-dollar companies. Struggle was coming. College is where most people slow down, where life becomes safe, where parents say, relax, enjoy, secure your future. But, for Sam, college felt like a waiting room. And waiting rooms are torture. For people who want to build, he went to Stanford, one of the best universities on the planet. For most families, that is the dream. Get into Stanford, graduate, get a top job, life solved. But founders don't see prestige the same way they see time. Time is the only thing you never get back, and staying in school felt slow to slow, so he made a decision most people would never dare make. He dropped out, not because he failed, because he was impatient to test ideas, impatient to step into the real world. Most people think dropping out is reckless, but for founders, playing safe is the bigger risk, because comfort kills ambition. So he launched his first startup, Loop, a location sharing app. Today that sounds normal, but at that time smartphones were barely exploding. The market wasn't ready, and being early is one of the most painful places to be, because when you are early, look wrong, investors doubt you, customers don't care, world ignores you. For years, Looped struggled, money problems, user problems, growth problems, moved fast while his friends graduated, 8 jobs earned, stable salary. Sam stayed in chaos, pitching investors, fixing bugs, chasing users, barely sleeping. No glamour, no headlines, just stress. This is where most people quit entrepreneurship forever, because reality hits hard. Movies show startups as exciting, in real life are exorbitant. But here is what struggle gives you clarity. Stop chasing cool ideas, you start chasing what works, because markets don't reward dreams, they reward value. Eventually, Looped sold not for billions, not for glory, just a modest except. Most people would sign, nice try, now get a real job. At Sam didn't see failure, he saw training, because that first startup taught him more than any degree could. It taught him execution, it taught him discipline, it taught him how fragile companies really are, and most importantly, taught him how to survive disappointment, because disappointment is constant in entrepreneurship. If you collapse emotionally every time something fails, soon never last. And Sam learned not to collapse, he learned to adapt. That mental toughness would soon place him in a position where he wouldn't just build companies, he would shape the future of startups themselves, because the next step of his life would multiply his influence 10 times, then 100, then 1,000. He wasn't about to become just a founder, he was about to become a kingmaker. At Combinator, Sam Altman stopped being just another entrepreneur. He became someone who could spot the future before everyone else. He helped fund companies that sounded crazy at the time. Airbnb, strange ideal, it strangers sleep in your house, Dropbox store, FARs online, risky Stripe online payments for developers to Nick, except all of them exploded. And this happened again and again and again and At some point you realize this isn't luck, it's pattern recognition. He developed a skill very few people have, the ability to see what the world will need before the world knows it, while others chased trench studied fundamentals. Where is technology heading? What problems will get bigger? What systems will dominate? And slowly, one topic kept appearing: artificial intelligence, not chatbots, not toys, real intelligence, machines that learn, machines that create. Most people were scared of the future. Sam wasn't scared, he was curious, because if something is inevitably either run from it or build it, and he chose to build it, he realized something powerfully wouldn't just be another industry, it would reshape every industry: education, health, care, finance, defense, creativity, everything end. Whoever built the core systems would shape humanity itself. It's not a startup that has history end. That thought led to something bold, something risky, as something most investors thought was unrealistic. OpenAI. Lab focused on safe, powerful AI at the time. It sounded almost naive. No clear business model, massive costs, certain timeline, years of research, guarantee most people would never bet their career on something like that. But Sam had already trained for uncertainty from childhood. Failed startups to risky investments, chaos felt normal. So instead of asking will this work, he asked what happens if we don't try. And some to miss that is the question that builds empires. When OpenAI started, almost nobody paid attention. Years of research, burning money, slow progress aside, a laugh too early too. Risky impossibility kept building quietly, because breakthroughs don't happen loudly, they happen silently. Then suddenly ChatGPT. Overnight world changed, students using AI, programmers using AI, businesses automating work, millions, then hundreds of millions, then billions, then billions. Aren't the company everyone doubted? Beckham, the center of the tech universe. But then came the twist. He was fired. He is fired from the company he helped build. Imagine that, years of sacrifice and Sedano. Most people would collapse. But something incredible happened. Employees supported Jim, investors pushed back, the world reacted, because leadership isn't authority, it's trust. And he returned stronger, because once you survive, pressure sex can't intimidate you. Today Sam Altman isn't just a CEO, he is shaping the future of humanity, talking to governments, discussing AI safety, guiding technology that billions depend on. But the story didn't start with power, it started with curiosity, with failure, with risk, with conditioning. Because billionaires aren't built when money arrives, they are built when nobody believes in them, when they fail, when they persist, when they keep going. So what built Sam Altman? Not luck, not genius, not shortcuts, but pressure. Without comfort, failure. Without quitting, curiosity. Without limits, long-term thinking, relentless executioner. Is how revolutions are built. It is how empires are built. That is how leaders are built. And if you want more stories like this, stories that connect parenting, mindset, struggle, and technology, subscribe. Because Hiru don't just talk about success, we decode how it is built. And click the next video on your screen, because the next story might change how you see success forever.